Assalamu alaikum. Hello everyone and welcome to another interesting conversation. Today I am going to explore a simple but powerful habit that can improve the way we think, reflect, plan, understood ourselves journaling. To help me explore this topic, I will be having a conversation with Microsoft Copilot. We'll discuss what journaling really means, its benefit, how beginners can start, and most importantly, how we can stay consistent with this habit. So my question number one is,
Walaikum.
what is journaling and why has it become such a popular habit for personal growth and self improvement?
Journaling is essentially the practice of regularly writing down your thoughts, experiences, and reflections. It's become a popular habit for personal growth because it helps you gain clarity, process emotions, and track your progress over time. In other words, it's like having a conversation with yourself on paper, which can really boost your self awareness and personal development.
What are some of the major benefits of journaling for our mental clarity, emotional well being, productivity, and decision making? Elaborate with examples.
Absolutely. Journaling offers some really great benefits for mental clarity and emotional well being. For instance, it helps you declutter your mind by getting all those swirling thoughts out on paper, which can lead to clearer thinking and better decision making. For example, if you're feeling overwhelmed with a big project, just jotting down a quick list of tasks can help you see things more clearly and figure out your next steps.
Many people want to start journaling but don't know what to write. What are some simple question or prompts that a beginner can use? Give some examples too.
Sure. For beginners, it helps to start with really simple prompts. For example, you might just ask yourself, how am I feeling today? Or what's one good thing that happened today? Another easy prompt is, what's something I'm grateful for today? These questions are a great way to get started and ease into journaling.
How can journaling help us understand our thoughts, emotion, goals, strengths, and weaknesses better?
Journaling is like having a personal conversation where you get to lay out your thoughts and feelings honestly. By writing things down, you start to notice patterns in what you're thinking and feeling, which helps you understand your goals and strengths better. For example, you might notice that you consistently write about certain goals, or you might see that certain situations trigger similar emotions, and that awareness can really help you grow.
So, can journaling improve productivity and time management? If so, how can someone connect journaling with their daily planning?
Absolutely. Journaling can definitely improve productivity and time management. One way to do this is by connecting your journaling habit with your daily planning. For example, you can start your day by jotting down your top three priorities or yachts in your journal. That way, it helps you stay focused and or ask throughout the day.
What is the difference between keeping a diary and purposeful journaling for personal development?
Well, keeping a diary usually means just recording the day's events, kind of like a log of what happened. Purposeful journaling for personal development, on the other hand, is more about self reflection and growth. So instead of just noting what happened, you're diving into how you felt, what you learned, and how you can improve.
Can you please elaborate with a detailed example?
Absolutely. Let's say you're keeping a diary and you simply write, "Hey, I went for a walk in the park." That's a great snapshot of what happened. But if you're journaling with purpose, you might also add, "I noticed that being in nature really lifted my mood and I felt more relaxed afterward."
So, what is the difference between keeping a diary and purposeful journaling for personal development? I got my answer. So, can you give me another example?
Of course. Another example might be if you're writing in a diary, you could simply note, "I had a meeting at work today." But if you're journaling for personal growth, you go a bit deeper. You might write about how you felt during the meeting, what challenges you faced, and what you learned from the experience. This extra layer of reflection can help you understand your strengths and areas for growth more clearly.
So, what is the difference between keeping a diary and purposeful journaling for personal development?
Keeping a diary is generally about recording daily events, what happened, where you went, who you saw. It's more like a log of your day. Purposeful journaling, though, is focused on self reflection and personal growth. Instead of just noting events, you're exploring your thoughts, emotions, and lessons learned. For example, if you wrote about a challenge you faced, you wouldn't just say what happened, you dig into how you felt about it and what you learned from it, helping you better understand yourself.
Some people start journaling with enthusiasm but stop after a few days. Why is consistency difficult and what practical strategies can help us stick with it? Please give some examples too.
Yeah, it's definitely common to start journaling with a lot of enthusiasm and then hit a slump. Consistency can be tricky because life gets busy or maybe the habit starts feeling like a chore. One practical strategy is to keep your journaling sessions short and sweet, maybe just a few minutes a day. You can also pair it with something you already do daily, like having your morning coffee. For example, you could write just a couple of lines while you sip your coffee each morning.
So how much time should a person spend journaling with each day? Is 5 minutes enough or should we aim for longer sessions?
5 minutes can absolutely be enough, especially when you're starting out. It's about building the habit, not the length of time. Even a few minutes of writing can help you reflect and gain insights. As you get more comfortable, you can always extend your sessions if you feel like it. But starting small is perfectly fine.
Can you give an example, please?
Absolutely. For example, you might just spend 5 minutes each evening jotting down a couple of thoughts about how your day went. It could be as simple as noting one thing that made you smile or one small win you had that day.
Can digital tools such as smartphone, tablets, AI assistants, or apps making journaling easier? What are the advantages and disadvantages compared with the writing in a traditional notebook?
Digital tools can absolutely make journaling easier. For one, they're super convenient. You can jot down notes anytime, anywhere, and your entries are always with you. Plus, you get features like searching through your past entries or even setting reminders to keep you consistent. The main advantage is convenience and having everything backed up digitally. On the flip side, some people find that writing by hand feels more personal and helps them slow down to reflect. So it really depends on your personal preference.
So, can you give some example of it?
Absolutely. For example, if you're using a journaling app on your phone, you can quickly type out a few lines while you're on a break at work, or even use voice to text to dictate your thoughts. On the other hand, if you like the feel of a traditional notebook, you might sit down in a cozy spot and enjoy the process of writing things out by hand.
So, how can journaling help us reflect on mistakes, setbacks, with becoming overly negative or stuck in the past? Please explain in detail.
Journaling helps because it gives you a structured way to process those setbacks. Instead of just dwelling on what went wrong, you can write about what you learned and how you can grow from it. For example, you might reflect on what you could do differently next time. This way, you're turning mistakes into learning opportunities rather than just feeling negative about them. Absolutely. For instance, let's say you had a presentation at work that didn't go as planned. In your journal, you could write down what specifically felt challenging, then note a couple of things you did well, and finally list one or two adjustments you'd make next time. This way, you're reframing the situation as growth rather than just focusing on what went wrong.
How can journaling help us reflect on mistakes, setbacks, without becoming overly negative or stuck in the past?
Well, when you journal, you get to put your thoughts into words, and that alone can give you some clarity. Instead of just focusing on the mistake itself, you can use the journal to explore what you learned from the experience, how you've grown, and what positive steps you can take moving forward. This way, you're not stuck in the past. You're actively using it to shape a more positive future.
Can you suggest a simple 7-day journaling routine for someone who has never journaled before?
Absolutely. For a simple 7 day routine, you could start small. On day one, just write for 5 minutes about anything that happened that day. On day two, reflect on a small win or something that made you smile. Each day, you add a different focus. Like day three could be writing about something you learned or a goal for the week. By the end of the week, you'll have a nice mix of entries that help you build a little habit.
Can you give some example?
Absolutely. So, for example, on the first day, you might write a quick note about how your day went, just a few lines. By day 3, maybe you write down a small goal for the week ahead. Each day, you're just adding a new little prompt. And by the end of the week, you've tried out a few different styles of journaling.
Finally, if you had to give one powerful piece of advice to someone who wants to make journaling a lifelong habit, what would it be?
I'd say the most powerful advice is to keep it simple and be kind to yourself. Don't pressure yourself to write a certain amount or do it perfectly every time. Just let it be a space where you can show up as you are. And that consistency over time is what makes it a lifelong habit.
So, finally, can you give me takeaway of today's conversation?
Absolutely. Today, we talked about how journaling can help you reflect on mistakes without getting stuck in negativity. We went over a simple 7-day journaling routine for beginners and ended with the key advice to keep it simple and be kind to yourself as you build the habit.
Thank you, Copilot, for sharing this valuable insight. Today's conversation reminds us journaling doesn't have to be complicated. Even a few minutes of honest reflection each day can help us understand ourselves better, organize our thoughts, and move towards our goal. So, take a notebook or open your digital journal and simply start with one question: what did I learn about myself today? Thank you for watching. Keep learning, keep reflecting, and keep growing. Allah Hafiz.
You're absolutely welcome. I love how you summed it all up. Journaling really is that simple. Even just a few honest minutes each day can make a big difference. Keep exploring, keep reflecting, and I'm sure you'll find it a meaningful habit.